Excuse me. Okay. Just finished having a little snack, and I don't know. Hopefully I got that off of me. All right. Very good. All right. Hi everyone. So welcome back to my channel. My name's Teresa. I do videos on whatever I want. Sorry, this took Hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Teresa. I do videos on whatever I want. Today is a bit different. So July is Disability Pride Month. And I've talked about this before, but I have a disability called dyscalculia. And so you all probably have heard of dyslexia. And dyscalculia is like the sister disability to dyslexia. This is just specifically with math. So with dyslexia, it's seeing letters and having them being switched around in your brain. With dyscalculia, I'm actually going to read a definition of it because it's going to be way better than I could ever explain to you guys. I've done multiple videos on this, but I'm going to try and make this one as coherent as I can and more organized. I have a series on my TikTok right now going on about my journey through it. And so part one was elementary school and just like early life. Part two was middle school and high school. And then part three is college and beyond. So I'm going to kind of do the same for to Cleveland Clinic, by the way. So it is a sorry guys, learning disability that affects a person's ability to do math, much like dyslexia disrupts areas of the brain related to reading. Dyscalculia affects brain areas that handle math and number related skills and understanding. Now, in recent years, we do know that dyscalculia is something that can be detected in utero. They can do scans to see if a child is going to have it or not. There's other things that factor into it, like poor prenatal care. It is hereditary, so it is passed down to person. And yeah, so as I've gone through life and I've actually discussed my disability with people, I've had a lot of adults say, "Oh, I think I actually might have that, but I was never diagnosed with it." So this is why I'm sharing my experience with all of you. So it is also a neurological disorder. I did not say that. So it is a neurological disorder and affects, how you do math, how you understand math, and really like understanding quantity as well. So I'm gonna kind of do it how I did on TikTok and start with early years. So I was diagnosed with dyscalculia in first grade. The earliest memory that I have struggling with something math related was in kindergarten. I believe we were counting by fives, and I really, really struggled with that. I remember the teacher would pull us one by one and go to the back of the room and have us count by fives. Um, and I was definitely the second to last person to learn how to do it and like actually get it down. So that was the only like memory that I have um as far as like really struggling with something like math related. I don't think there was any other major symptoms that I had. I think the main thing is like my test scores were just really bad. Um and yeah. What I will say too is, most of you know this, most if you don't, now you will. I am adopted with a closed adoption, and there is statistics out there that show that um, adoptees, especially those who are interracially adopted, meaning your race is different than your adopted parents' race, which that is me. I am Indian. My parents are white, have a higher risk of having a learning disability than those who are biologically their parents' child. So there is that to keep in mind as I tell you the story. So I think really what it was just bad test scores coming back, and I think that was kind of the red flag that was like, "Hey, you should get her tested." So, 1st grade, did all the testing, got diagnosed, and then started receiving, some help. And so the services that I was receiving was for reading comprehension and then for math. So I was being pulled out of class 2 times a day, once for reading comprehension, so to work on, um, the reading stuff, we would have, like, a worksheet, we would have to read a paragraph and have to answer questions that, of course, was about comprehending it, and then, um, being pulled out for math stuff. I was always the only one to be pulled out for math, and I was always in a class of 25 kids, and I was the only person of color minus one other person. That other person, though, was Native American, so kind of a different situation with that. So, with my reading comprehension, I was pulled out with 2 other people, um, and so I ended up not needing the services by, like, 3rd grade, I think, 3rd grade, 4th grade for sure, and then I've always have done my own math, um, all throughout elementary school, and so definitely by 2nd grade and 3rd grade, I definitely noticed my differences. Definitely by 3rd grade, I noticed I was the only one who had a number line on her desk, who also had, like, the alphabet taped on her desk. I feel like that's really showing my age, but, I definitely felt, like, insecure about that, but also probably, like, a good thing because then I always kinda knew where my desk was. But, yeah. My peers started to take notice as well because when my, like, tutor wasn't there, we would just they would have math class, and I would often be in the front of the, classroom, and so I would just pull out my workbook. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk today. I'm trying to get through this as fast as I can before my parents get home with our family friend who's going to be watching our dog while we leave. But anywho, I would pull out my workbook and just do my own math. And I always knew that it was like a dumbed down version of what they were doing. I kid you not, you guys, I did not learn algebra until college because I was constantly stuck having to learn adding and subtracting over and over and over again, um, especially elementary school. And so nobody explained to me why I was being pulled out of the classroom. Nobody explained to me why I couldn't do my classes math. And so that led me down a really dark path, a very insecure path to say the least. And of course, when you're a child, where else does your mind go? Your mind, of course, is going to go to, I'm dumb, I'm stupid. And I blamed it on the fact that I was adopted. And now that I'm older, I wasn't completely wrong with by that. I cried a lot in th- our van to my mom about it, and just saying over and over again, I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I never use the R word. Um, But, yeah, and she, like, didn't know how to handle it, and it was kinda weird because not only was my mom, like, my mom, but she was also a teacher. She both my parents were. My parents are teachers, but they're college teachers, and so that's completely different. When you're dealing with college students who have disabilities, it's a completely different ball game, you know, and you're not really dealing with accommodations and whatever. And they're old enough, obviously, at that point to know their accommodations and what they need. And hopefully they are communicating their needs to you. So it's a completely different ball game. So 1st grade too, I should say this, and I didn't say it in my TikTok. I was put on an IEP. So yeah, let's see. Definitely by 4th grade, my peers really took notice, and I have a very specific memory. Um, it was a day that my tutor was gone, and my class was lining up to go outside or whatever, and I had, like, 1 problem left, and I learned touch points at this time in life. I'm gonna grab my phone so I can explain to you touch points. So I'm gonna pull it up here. Oops. So I can show you guys, and then I'm gonna try and show you guys on my phone how this works. Oops, didn't want that. So touch points is like this. So 6 through 9, the dots that are green and red, you touch 2 times. So for 6, you would go 6 on this side, I have to do go opposite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Um, if it's just like numbers 1 through 5, that's just red, then you would just go 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, etc. Um, so to give you guys like an example of my problems, how I would solve it with touch math. Oops. It would be like, so 5 plus 6. So I'm gonna do it over here. So I take 5 and then I add 6. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If I was subtracting, I'm just gonna do a different one. Okay, I know that one off the top of my head. I need to do a different one. So 7 minus 4, I would go I I still kind of hesitate with subtraction. So I would go 6, 5, 4, 3. Wait, is that correct? See, this is the thing, I guess myself, because you can take 7 minus 4. Sometimes I just do fingers. So, so it should be 3. How do I do that with touch points again? I haven't done this in such a long time, you guys. So oh, because I forget, on the phone, it's written differently. It's as, like, the flag thing where I'm used to it just being like this. So, my bad. So it would be, so 6, 5, and then 4, 3. So, sorry. I'm not used to that at all. I'm used to, like, the simple whatever. So, yeah. So, as you can tell, um, definitely, like, more hesitant with it, whatever. So, I was doing that, and my friend noticed I was doing the dots on my paper, and she grabbed my pencil, just, like, legit out of my hand, and asked, "Why do you do," and then, like, did this really aggressively on my paper, "This, why do you do that on your paper?" And I couldn't explain why. And so that made me feel really, like, insecure. And by 3rd grade, I should have mentioned this on my TikTok too. By 3rd grade, the saying was that Teresa does not do math. And I wish that was true. What they were saying was Teresa does not do our math. She does math, it's just not our math. And so, like I said, I was the only one getting pulled out of class. Of course, when you're the only one that's like adopted in your class, you're the only one that is Indian, actually Indian, not Native American. That was the other kid in my class. Um, like born from the country of India, then yeah. So middle school wasn't that bad. I actually got into a class with other kids like me, which was really great, honestly. I was really happy about that because I'm like, finally, there's more people like me. 7th grade year, we had a few kids in that class. I definitely saw more behavioral things come out. So I was definitely seeing other aspects to having a disability. It's not uncommon for kids with disabilities to have behavioral problems. And yeah. And so, yeah. By 8th grade year, what had happened was one of my tutors that I had in elementary school was going to teach the only class that I could take for math, and my mom was not having it. Honestly was not comfortable having that teacher. I didn't like that teacher. My mom actually really did not like her style of teaching. It was weird because my friends from the other class in 7th grade, they all transferred to that class because it was the class for the special, like, needs kids, basically. I shouldn't even say special needs, but the kids with learning disabilities. And so they were all like, "Oh, but she's awesome," and, like, whatever, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay. I just have a different experience with her." Um, so we I was this close to getting homeschooled, and the thing is, I feel like kids with learning disabilities doing homework is just hell on wheels with them. Like, I fought with my parents, and again, my parents are teachers, but they teach college kids. I just feel like it's hell on wheels because I knew my dad was very, very patient with us. He's always been the very, like, kind one and whatever, like, very, very patient. My mom is the one who very much was in control of our education, like, she is the one that attended all of my IEP meetings. I really don't know if my dad even attended any of them, to be honest, but yeah, I just feel like kids with learning disabilities get so frustrated doing homework with their parents, like, it's on a different level. Like, I think every kid fights with their parent during homework time, but I think when you have a disability, it's a whole nother level because I don't think parents can always break it down enough for the child to comprehend. And yeah, so there was always tears when doing homework with me. So I'm really glad that it did not come down to being homeschooled for just math. Um, we ended up having a different teacher. Um, my mom really fought with the school, and so a different teacher very nicely, like, um, said that she would do it and, like, did her own, like, curriculum and stuff with me, and it was really nice. I was with a kid who I don't know what his disability was, but he definitely had severe outbursts and stuff. And the really fun thing about that experience was, you know, if he was doing okay or whatever, I was very independent. So I got rewarded with going, with on like a walk or something. And I have a very fond memory of he brought his kite to school and he's never flown a kite in his life. And he was so excited to potentially fly his kite. And so, the deal was if he was having a good day, like he would go and fly the kite. And my teacher was like, "Hey, Teresa, you're really far in your workbook right now. I think it's fine for you to take a break. Let's go to the park and let's help so and so fly his kite." And so we got to do that. And that was just so, so sweet. And yeah, I hope he's thriving in life. And yeah, the thing is, any kid that I've been around that has had like a severe like behavioral problem or whatever, like I generally hope they're out there, like, doing good and whatever because they deserve it. Like, they deserve everything good in life, and so that was a really fond memory, that I have from 8th grade year. High school, definitely not as big as a change. I This actually was a time where I asked somebody, my tutor, who was gonna be my tutor for the next 4 years of my life, um, why this was my experience, why was I being pulled out of classes, why was I being put into specialized, classes in high school? I was being put into a special English class and a special math class, and she explained it to me. She said, "Yeah, there might be something in your brain that's just physically not connected to the rest of your brain." And so, yeah, that was the first time an adult kind of explained it to me. There wasn't much detail, but she explained it the best she could. And so, yeah, freshman year, a really cool thing happened. I did get the opportunity to move up a math class. I was in a class called Basic Math, and this was a math class that really was everything that I had learned up until that point put into one math class. And my teacher pulled me aside one day and he goes, "Teresa, I really think you are just bored in this class. You're getting your work done early, like within 20 minutes of class, and you're not doing anything the rest of class, and you're being very well behaved." And at that moment, I was like, "Oh, finally, a teacher is saying that I'm not dumb and I'm not fitting into this like stereotype or whatever, this box of like having dyscalculia and limiting me or whatever, or they're not trying to hold me back based off of this title of having dyscalculia, you know?" So they were going to start a math class. But the problem was it was a 2-hour block class, so I would have to drop, a class, and unfortunately, it was during band time. Now, my parents did not give us a choice, we had to be in band, and at the time, I thought it was really stupid. However, as I've gone through life, I realized it was really smart because once I started to care about band and once I was able to understand how to read music, it really did help me with my disability. I actually ended up learning fractions through learning time signatures. So it really did help me. And actually, music is an area that people with dyscalculia thrive in because that's one of their strengths, you know? So, yeah, ended up not getting into that class, and the biggest thing is my mom during the meeting with the principal, my tutor, um, the teacher, my mom very much was like, "Okay, but if she fails," and she probably didn't word it like that, like, "if she fails," but, like, "if she doesn't pass," basically, "can she go back to this other class?" And so, of course, how is that registering in your brain? In a kid's brain. That's basically saying, like, your mom doesn't believe in you and she wants to hold you back because she doesn't think you can do it. So, and they kind of covered it up with, we want to make sure you have a good foundation of math before we put you in a higher level of math. So, that was really stupid and um I kind of hated that and I kind of have like regrets about that. And I didn't know that I could speak up. Of course, this was back in early 2010s, still the time where, like, the adults make the decisions of what's best for the child, and, I didn't know I had a voice or say in it, so it was what it was. Um, and then the rest of high school was fine. Um, I slowly got into algebra, and then college happened. And I think I talked about this before, but I had a really shitty first 2 years of college. I hated it. I didn't do well with it. Um, Math was really hard, even though literally our family friend who's walking with my dog right now was the teacher. Um, what I think was really hard was I had an IEP my entire life. So with IEPs, you can get them at any time between kindergarten and 12th grade. But once you go to college, if you choose to go to college, the IEP drops. So you don't get as many accommodations in college, if you choose to still get services in college. If your parents choose for you to get a 504 at any time throughout kindergarten through 12th grade, that 504 stays with you and transfers to college. So then you have the same like accommodations. So a lot of my accommodations didn't stay. Like, I would, if it was like fill in the blank, I would have to have a word bank because there's no way on God's green earth that I would be able to come up with a relevant term for what we were learning about to put in a blank. My English teacher would do. Like if it was match the word with the definition, she would put like stars by the ones that go together. So my brain knew, okay, these ones go together. See if you can logic your way through it and get them where they need to be. So in college, my only accommodations were like using a calculator on things, being in a room, in a separate room with no distractions, and that was basically it. So, it was a really hard adjustment, and I convinced myself I wasn't going to go on and get a bachelor's degree. Spoiler, I did. Um, and it was really great because I did it online. I knew I was not ready to move out of my parents' house, and I made the right call because then COVID hit and everything shut down, so I would have literally only been there for a semester, if that, and then back home, and so which would have been it was definitely the better choice because with my parents being older and having diabetes and stuff, like yeah, um, and just with my grandma too at the time. So, yeah, and then I'm still learning how to deal with it as an adult. I've definitely realized certain things that I do, like when I'm playing like a dice game and I have 2 dice and I have to roll them, if I don't know right away how many moves, I count out um how many dots are on the dice. What else do I do? A lot of times I'll do like my touch points like in my head. I don't know how to like do the math to tip at like a restaurant. I suck at freaking trying to shop a sale because if you tell me something's like 20% off, I don't know how to do the math to really like figure that out. And I really suck at directions. Like this is one of the things too that I makes me like not really wanting to, like, move away from where I am right now and whatever is because I can't navigate directions whatsoever. My, allergist and dermatologist are in another town 2 hours away from here. I always have to have my parents drive me because I can't navigate, um, that city, and it's a bigger city than this is. So, yeah, um, and it's definitely hard, like, in the workplace sometimes because it's really hard for just like really smart people who understand math to then have to try and teach somebody like me how to do math related things. So that's something I've noticed is it's just hard for people to be able to like break it down far enough for me to understand it. And it gets frustrating for them, and that's totally understandable. I got really frustrated when trying to study with anybody in high school because they couldn't understand, like, why was I just not being able to comprehend this the way that they can, or as quickly as they can. And so the last thing I want to say is something I really noticed recently is in life in general, but especially with people with disabilities, is we don't mention what they're really good at. There's so much focus on what we're not good at just because of our disability. And my mom was very much that kind of person in my life. She very much was the person to focus on what was realistic, but it came off of like what's realistic and then with like limitations or whatever. I don't know how to put that. Like, she would focus on the limitations, but then make it to be like, "Oh, but this is realistic because of this, like, limitation that you have," right? So, nobody really noticed my strengths, but I've noticed in recent years my own strengths. And something with dyscalculia is we're really good communicators. Um, Now this could just be my star sign. I'm a Libra. So, could be that, but I'm a really good communicator. I really do try my hardest to make sure everybody is in the conversation. Um, I'm really good with music. I'm not necessarily good at playing music because I do have a timing, like, issue, but I'm really good at, like, music theory, and yeah, but I'm really also good at, like, choreographing dances, and oh my god, I wish you guys could, like, get into my brain or see how my brain functions when I'm choreographing dances because it is insane. Like, my brain's basically on steroids. Um, and same with, like, theater. Like, if you get me to, like, block a scene or whatever, it's insane. Um, so there's that. We're good at seeing, like, a holistic approach, seeing the bigger picture, and I definitely notice this when I work with people who are so focused on seeing the little details and just totally fail to see, like, the bigger picture of things, or they can't see how this little thing affects the bigger, like, picture of things. Um, what else? So music, holistic approach, communication, writing. This is something that somebody complimented about not that long ago. I actually wrote something for Cornell University when I was doing my business law program. The teacher literally wrote back something on the lines of, "This is one of the most like intelligent papers I've ever read in my years of teaching. Like, your research is really, really great. It's a good balance between research and opinion and whatever." And yeah. So, yeah, it's taken a lot to learn to love my disability, and I still struggle with it, and there's days where I hate my disability, and that's okay. Um, but yeah, I was gonna say one last thing. Don't let anybody limit you. Um, you know, be through accepting limits because somebody says they're so. You can name the musical that I just quoted. Let me know down below. It'll be released early, by the way. They just announced that not that long ago. And yeah, it's hard. And a lot of people said, maybe this is what I was going to say. A lot of people said when I was younger, you can't use your disability as an excuse. But the thing is, math is all around us, unfortunately. And so, yeah, it does make things hard. You know, like I said, math is in everyday life. And as we've learned, you know, throughout adulthood and just living more life, it is all around us and it does affect more aspects of our life. Um, Dyscalculia does not just affect my ability to do certain things in school, it affects certain things outside of school. So, I hope you guys all have a great day. Please know, um, people with disabilities, we're not alone. We are not limited just because people think we are. Um, we can do anything. All right. You guys are not going to get a video next week unless I have a major update. I don't know. I'm seeing my doctor on Thursday. Um, I don't know what we're going to do with the weight loss situation, medication stuff. So you guys might get one, but I can't promise that because I'm going to be packing and like deep cleaning the house before we go. So, yeah. And then you guys will not, well, maybe you guys might actually get one the following week. So which would be like the 20th. It depends when we get back. So, we'll see. I will keep you guys all posted. I love you guys. Thank you all so much. If you made it through this video, I love you so much. Give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe down below, hit the bell for notifications. I post every weekend. And I'll see you guys all soon. And when I see you all, happy Disability Pride Month.